Hello and welcome, and apologies in advance. This is going to be 3.5 of your English hours stuffed full of my smug face, so I hope you're good and ready for that. Channel 4 have very kindly decided to celebrate the fact that I've been on television for 10 years, so you'll be delighted to know that we'll be playing your favourite of my specials. And they are specials, as voted for by you from the 6 that we selected. We'll be showing the Enigma stage show. But first, you'll be sure to spank yourselves raw to learn that we begin tonight with a film that you will not have seen before. It's a documentary, this time not made by me, but about me, and one in which I get to expose myself to you in the way that I've always wanted to. So pop an absorbent towel under your bottom and hang on to your seats, because the Derren Brown night starts about a minute ago.
Okay, Derren, so is that off?
Yeah, 1 second.
Done?
Okay.
Okay. So if you just go into the middle of that parquet floor area, just forward a little bit into the light. A little bit further forward.
Yeah, sorry.
That's it. Good. Okay, and what's your best side? Okay, let's go. So what's happening today?
Well, you are my oldest friend. You're 93. You're my oldest friend from school, and we've decided that to make a film, a documentary about me. So you, Nigel's going to be filming me for the next few days at home. I know you want to give people an intriguing insight into a fascinating behind-the-scenes glimpse, so I'm up for that. I don't have to prepare anything or do any work, which is quite nice. So yeah, you're welcome to follow me around and look at anything you like.
Over the last 10 years, Derren has taken tricks and mind reading and all that entails and just dragged it, kicking and screaming, you know, into the 21st century.
I love the fact that he's extremely honest about what he does, and yet he still manages to bamboozle you, you know.
Derren Brown in one phrase.
He's like a sprite. He is. He's like a little sprite.
Hello. Thank you very much. Cheers. Nice to meet you. I've come to Cheltenham for the literary festival, and embarrassingly, it shows how little I know about the festival. I thought this was going to be like 50 people in a tent. I thought it was like a little marquee, and I just found out it's 2,000 people.
You know, we're living at a time where you've seen one of the all-time greats of magic doing extraordinary television and arguably even better live shows.
He's really rare. He's really rare because he's sort of everything. He's a great actor. He's a great comic. He's an old-style showman.
Magic, mystery, and the art of illusion.
I mean, that's
Then why are we not? I mean, my God.
Exactly, that's what, yeah.
Two great illusionists of our age.
It goes with the package of we're meeting Derren Brown. What will he find out about me? What will he know about me? I think people are apprehensive. Absolutely nonsense, because Derren, if you've ever met him, is a pussycat.
You've had a bit of a sort of long-term relationship with taxidermy, haven't you?
I love facsimile and fabrication, things looking real that aren't real. I don't know why that's always excited me. Yeah, I sort of get them from auctions and sometimes antiques shops. These parrots have come from the parrot sanctuary that I'm patron of. Look, that's what will happen to you if you keep shitting on my books. Look.
Isn't that a little bit strange?
It is a bit strange, isn't it? This guy was someone's pet, who he got stuffed and never picked him up from the shop. Oh, the pickled chimp. This chap was stillborn. This is from the 1920s. It's a beautiful thing. It's sort of peaceful. So, I don't know, is that disturbing? You find that odd?
I find it a bit disturbing.
A little bit.
I think I find that disturbing, and you've got one or two sort of deformed animals, haven't you?
The deformed animals, yes. And that's the eight-legged lamb. Nothing wrong with that.
BBC Radio 2 in concert Thursday night, and tonight it is all about this man. Everything Derren does is a trick. I just want to shake him, because I'm just like, how do you do this, and why can I not work it out? I had to do this trick with buttons, and I had to put them onto a tray, and then I had to hit Derren. Hello? Yeah. Really? Yeah. And I playfully slapped him around the cheek, and he went, no, no, you've got to do it harder. So I hit him again. And his cheek by then is getting quite mottled and quite red.
One more to go, hard.
Probably a lot of people would fantasise about what I did to Derren, like smacking him really hard in the face, and it felt surprisingly good.
49.
And then he told me how many buttons there were. Yeah. He got it completely right. 49, bingo.
I think what Derren will do is just go to the ends of the earth to make people amazed.
In the trick with Simon Pegg, I dropped all kind of subtle hints into his mind and about his ideal birthday present. They may have said, I want X, whatever that is, you know, like a really nice car, like a BM or an Xbox or something like that, something they really wanted. And when I asked him, he said a BMX bike. But he'd actually written down a very different choice 2 weeks earlier. It was a leather jacket.
What he'd pulled on me actually tugged the rug from beneath me. You see it on the show, I kind of go, huh? I go all white. I think he's got me.
The playfulness has always been an important part of Derren's fun and charm, because that enables him to play with somebody's mind, but in a way that doesn't make them feel too uncomfortable, but clearly makes them feel like they're being manipulated.
Some of the stuff is quite light-hearted and upbeat. Some of it is quite sinister, quite dark, sometimes to the point that people get upset about it. In the middle of the night.
One of the things that many people remember for Derren's work is the darker stuff, the weirder stuff, the little horror movie type references that we like to incorporate.
I could see what you see.
Blair Witch routine was a really interesting routine, I think, because it was one of the first things that really established Derren as being on a different path from traditional magic.
Keep looking at me. Just close your eyes.
There's some pretty fucking dark material there, but that's exciting.
The Zombie Arcade was one of the darker ones. We had hypnotised this guy Fabian through an arcade game in a pub that we'd set up. And woke him up in exactly the same set, where he's now about to play this real-life zombie game, continuing from where he left off in the pub. It was lots of adrenaline. It was fun and scary.
There have been occasions when contributors in the show have been a bit upset or a bit disturbed, you know, during the routine. You know, that guy's freaking out.
People respond to hypnosis very differently. Some people will say, oh, I was just playing along and knew exactly what I was doing. And others will have no memory of the whole thing. They'll be convinced it had nothing to do with them. It's fascinating that they will do that.
Wicked.
But they're always very well taken care of, and they always have this real sense of exhilaration at the end of it. It continues to be fascinating, even though I've done it for so long.
Do you think it'd be fair to say that a lot of your acts sort of rather mess with people's minds?
Yeah, I hope so. I think this stuff's most interesting when for me, if it touches on sort of people's sort of beliefs or slightly kind of uncomfortable areas.
Where do you think your fascination for the minds, where does that come from?
it's not so much that I've always had a fascination with the human psyche. I think it's more that it just grew out of being an insecure student and kind of wanting to feel in control and to be liked, and you know, all the people that I could hypnotise well tended to be the sorts of sporty, rugged types that beforehand sort of intimidated me. So it was really quite interesting to suddenly be able to kind of control those people. You know, that was the sort of level I think it was working on at the start. It was probably the experiments with hypnosis that started everything for me, which is back in Bristol, really. It was a very formative part of my life. So I came to Bristol to go to university, and it was in my first year there that I saw a poster advertising a hypnosis show, which I went to, and that was it. That's what started it all off. This is the quadrangle. Keep off the grass. Good. At least I did that. Hello, is it Ross?
It is.
Hello, Derren. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you. I guess you heard we might be coming in. Can I come in?
Yeah, of course.
Can we come in and have a...
Of course. Have a look around.
Oh my God.
Is it strange coming back?
Yeah. It's all coming back.
This room was particularly important, wasn't it?
Well, this is where I started hypnotising people and kind of my career started. They used to sit in that chair and people would come in like once a week.
But when it very, very first began to work,
yeah.
What was that like?
Well, it was a very slow process. At the beginning, I talked someone 20 minutes into a sort of a trance induction and maybe suggest maybe that the hand was a bit too heavy to lift, or something very tentative, and would be very exciting when they said, yes, my hand couldn't lift, or maybe that it would float up in the air and there might be a little bit of that. And just, you sort of get braver and braver. And then after a while, it just became something that just sort of had a feel for, I think. By the time I'd graduated, I started doing close-up magic, sleight of hand magic. I was only occasionally doing the hypnosis, and I was earning my living as a magician. So I've, over recent years, become friendly with Stephen Merchant, and found out that while I was learning those skills while I was in Bristol, they were also formative years for him. He was becoming a stand-up comedian. Oh, it hasn't changed. That's a relief.
Is it exactly the same?
Pretty much, yes. I'd come every Thursday and do a couple of hours, 3 hours maybe, around the table.
Did the restaurant owners know? Or did you just come in?
No, it was officially
You're like a sort of SAS magician.
I did about 10 years here, and I was still doing here.
For 10 years you were performing in here every Thursday?
Roughly, yeah, about that. And I was building up my skills, and then people would hire me to come and do their parties and their corporate events and things like that. So that's how I earned my living for 10 years. We should sit down, shouldn't we?
So just give me an example. If I was sat here, I'm with a beautiful woman, obviously. That's a given. And we're just having a romantic time. I'm just whispering some sweet
I have to interrupt.
Yeah, what do you say?
Oh, God. Well, I'd be wandering around with this deck of
I'd see you lurking.
Yeah, I have a deck of cards, and there's this, you sort of...
That's really creepy.
Yeah. I'm Derren. I'm a kind of magician, and I'm here for the...
You're a kind of magician?
Yes. So they go, a kind of magician, and it would suggest a sort of something exciting. And then I would sit down, and I'd ask your name.
So it's in a way, it's like hitting on someone in a bar.
Yes.
Relentlessly for a whole evening every Thursday, which is pretty much my life anyway.
I was going to say.
Yeah, but wow, that's...
When I first met Derren, he was earning his living primarily as a close-up magician doing sort of amazing things with people in restaurants. And so when David Blaine became a huge hit on Channel 4, we thought there's room for a mind-reading guy who does that.